I'm not, am I doing as good as this person? What am I doing wrong? This and that and the other thing. Hey, don't worry about that. Here's what you got to worry about: doing your best every single day, and do a little bit better than that the next day. As long as you know in your heart, and as long as you can look yourself square in the mirror and you can say, "I did my best." And if you can say that, don't worry about everybody else around you. Don't worry that everybody else is doing a little bit better than you. Who cares? If you can be proud about what you're doing, if you can be proud about what's happening to you every single day, you're the one that can tell yourself every single day whether you're pouring it on, okay? And if you feel good about where you're at, and the only reason I'm saying that, I've seen some distributors before that definitely got sidetracked just because some other people were up there. Feel good about where you're at. Feel good about who you are. And if you want to make things better, all you got to do is look in the mirror and make them better. You guys have to realize you are the presidents, you are the chairman of the boards of your own independent Herbalife distributorships, okay? Each and every one of you have the power to be able to make things better for you. The one thing I'd like to leave you with is this. This is a very interesting thing that happened to me. I was at a dinner about 2 weeks ago, and how many of you have ever heard of General Schwarzkopf? Okay? I was at a dinner with General Schwarzkopf, and he was just an unbelievable man to listen to. And he had been talking about leadership and what it was like to be a world leader and so on. And truly, he's become an unbelievable, powerful figure to everybody around the world with the situation that we were in when we had Operation Desert Storm. Okay, everybody remembers that deal. And he was talking about what it was like to take charge and really run with things and so on. And he said he had taken us through about an hour of how he did his leadership and stuff like this, which I found very, very exciting personally, okay? But at the end of his deal, he said, I would just like to explain to you Rule 13 and Rule 14 as I end my presentation here today. And I thought it fit not only him very well, but it certainly fit me very well, and there's no question it'll fit you very well too, because you're all leaders. He said, when I was being put in charge of the entire United States service and so on, and he said it was going to be in charge of 650,000 men and women all over America, he said it was an awesome thing to even be asked to be put in charge of. But he said the man who was general just before that, he says, I only met him for just a handful of minutes. And he said, General Schwarzkopf? He said, yes, sir. He said, I would like to give you this position now. And he says, I'm very busy. I have to go on to Europe within the next month, and then I'll be in the Pacific Rim, and then I'll be over in South America, and I'll be back in approximately 2.5 months. Congratulations for getting the job of being in charge of the most proud men and women on the face of the planet. 650,000 of them are in your proud control. Goodbye. And he said, wait a minute. He says, I don't know a lot of what to do in this job. He says, just before you leave, can I please know about the Bill 17 that's been in front of the United States Congress for the last 7 years? He says, I got to know what to do about that particular subject. It's going to affect 100,000 of our people in the next couple of weeks. He said, General Schwarzkopf, he says, I got to leave. Just remember rule number 13. Goodbye. And he says, General, before you leave, I don't got any idea what rule 13 is. He says, please instruct me and guide me. He said, listen, he says, when you've been put in control, put this in your notes. When you've been put in control, take charge. And he said, wait a minute. He says, that's all I'm going to get. He says, I really got to have some advice here on these 100,000 people that are going to be affected. He said, General Schwarzkopf, he says, do you understand what I said? I got to Rule 13. And he says, I can't even believe it. You're giving me this job here with all these people not knowing how to make this decision, and all you're going to give me is rule number 13? He says, I'll give you one more thing, then I'm out of here. Rule 14. He says, what's that? He says, whatever you're faced with, whenever you're making these decisions, do the right thing. And he says, it'll be all right. And he said, you know something? He says, I learned something very extraordinary from that experience. He says, I was given control of 650,000 people. And he says, here I was not knowing how to make these decisions. But I learned one thing in a handful of minutes from this guy. I had been put in control, and I had to take action immediately. And he said the next thing was, I knew we had lots of people in the system, and if we would just keep the goals right, and we would just do it, all of the people in there would do the right thing. And he says, all I can tell you, he says, lots of people have asked me how I did the job that I did, and he says, all I know is that we took control, we got into action, and we kept doing the right thing. And that's all you guys got to do. To make it through your Herbalife distributorship and your president's team situation, all you got to do is keep doing the business. All you got to do is act upon your actions every single day. All you got to do is keep doing the right thing. And how much more righter can we get than what we're doing here? Helping people with their health, helping people with their lives, helping people change things around. We're doing the right thing.